Previously within Legends, Darth Vader's first few weeks within his suit, following his defeat on Mustafar, were a claustrophobic nightmare. Not only did the new Sith Lord have to deal with the loss of everything he'd known before the rise of the Empire, but Vader also had to adjust to the realities of his new life-supporting cybernetics. These painful early lessons are detailed to a great extent in the novel Dark Lord: The Rise of Darth Vader by James Luceno. However, with the release of the new Darth Vader comics, there appears to have been a change in how Vader is tormented by his new suit within the current canon, in the days after his defeat to Obi-Wan. In this video expose, I will describe how Disney has changed Darth Vader's suit and cybernetics from the point of view of Vader himself, focusing on the limitations and misery that it caused him immediately after Revenge of the Sith. While we can't say definitively that the new Darth Vader comics have changed the specifications of the suit itself, there are drastic differences when it comes to Vader's earliest impressions of his new cybernetics, as well as the limitations and adjustments that the suit caused him. The earliest scenes with Vader in the novel Dark Lord: The Rise of Darth Vader give a detailed description of how much agony the suit itself caused him. In fact, even 3 weeks after his injuries on Mustafar, Vader still struggled to maintain a kneeling posture when before Darth Sidious, which more than just causing Vader distress, limited his self-confidence and his belief in his abilities. But more than just struggling to maintain the simple task of kneeling, The Rise of Darth Vader describes every possible deficiency with Vader's suit, and how these deficiencies limited the Sith Lord in the earliest days after Mustafar. Some of these deficiencies included trouble walking due to the weight of his cybernetic legs and feet, wherein he had to call upon the Force just to walk, and prevent himself from toppling forward. Defects relating to his cybernetic arms, wherein they were too slow to respond to the movements and articulation that he desired, and wherein Vader could barely lift his arms above his head due to restrictions caused by the weight of the suit's chest plating. Deficiencies relating to seeing and hearing, as Vader found the mask to be needlessly angular, while the implants within his ears provided sound that was similar to being underwater, and which provided needless feedback that made judging distance and direction with any accuracy practically impossible. And finally, Vader was hampered by the incessant rasp of his breathing. As we'll see in just a moment, when comparing the changes that have been made within the current canon, the important point isn't just that Vader's suit caused him immense agony following Mustafar, but that the suit directly limited Vader's abilities, and were an express source of torment for the Sith Lord. We saw the limitations that the suit caused Vader manifest themselves in his first lightsaber duel with a Jedi named Bol Shatak on the planet of Murkana. Importantly, Shatak wasn't a Jedi Master. In fact, she wasn't even a distinguished Jedi Knight. Yet still, Shatak was able to penetrate Vader's defenses and score a significant blow to his forearm, which had Vader not been a cyborg, would have won her the duel. But eventually, she too was decapitated. As the scene was written by Luceno, it's clear that Vader almost lost the duel to an undistinguished Jedi Knight due to the limitations of his suit, and the fact that he'd not made the necessary adjustments that could be adapted to effective use of the cybernetics. Vader is described as being stiff in his movements, appearing to lack a style of his own in terms of lightsaber combat. This reference to a lack of style clearly indicates that Vader is merely doing his best to try to win the duel in any way that he could, with his movements being unorthodox and unlike any of those from the established lightsaber forms. Further, Shatak was able to score a blow to Vader's forearm due to her superior speed and fluidity of motion, indicating that Vader was slow to respond to the Jedi's movements. The suit was clearly limiting from Vader's own point of view. Following his duel on Murkana, despite the fact that he ultimately emerged victorious, Vader was incensed by the fact that a mediocre Jedi was able to injure him, when previously, only individuals such as Dooku, Ventress, and Obi-Wan had been similarly successful. Vader immediately blamed the situation on his suit and cybernetics, particularly the medical droids who he saw as inept, and who needlessly slowed his reflexes. Importantly, we also saw Vader expressly voice his frustrations to Sidious, telling his new master that he would be making and overseeing all modifications to his suit going forward, and blaming his uninspiring display on Mercana upon the medical droids who first introduced his cybernetics on Coruscant. Therefore, in Legends, we saw that Darth Vader's suit was a major obstacle that had to be conquered by him in the weeks following the events on Mustafar. His suit and cybernetics were initially a source of tremendous agony and torment for Vader that caused severe limitations, forcing him to adjust to the realities of his new situation. Further, Legends showed that Vader did not keep these limitations and the frustrations that they caused him to himself, as he expressly informed Sidious of the suit's impediments, and that he would be making all future modifications himself. These nightmarish early days of Vader's existence, seen previously in Legends, stand in stark contrast to Vader's suit from his own perspective and its limitations, as it currently exists in canon. In the first issue of the new Darth Vader comics, we see that even after Vader is attacked by Sidious with Force Lightning, Vader has little trouble adjusting to his new suit. Although this is a comic and not a novel, and therefore we can't get a full internal point of view of the situation from Vader himself, visually, we see Vader have no issues adjusting to the new realities of his suit. Mere minutes after Vader's final scene from Revenge of the Sith, we see him emerge from the medical facility on Coruscant and follow Sidious as he's given his first lesson. We see no negative effects from the suit during this period, no scenes showing Vader adjust to the new mechanisms of his cybernetics, and no mention that the suit is limiting or a source of agony in any way. One might argue that although we don't see any visual instances of Vader's early struggle with his suit that mirror those that existed in Legends, there just might not have been a chance for Vader to express them in these early scenes from the comics. While there certainly might be more going on beneath the surface from Vader's point of view, we do get a great scene in the comics that allows us to compare Vader's early experiences with the suit in Legends and in canon. As Vader is about to embark upon his mission to obtain a Kyber crystal so that he can build his first lightsaber as a Sith, Sidious directly asks Vader how he's finding his suit. Interestingly, and which is almost directly opposite to that scene in Legends, Vader's answer is that the armor is, quote, acceptable. Again, even when given the opportunity to touch upon the limitations of the suit, Vader seems to have no issues, with little of the agony and torment that was seen within Legends coming through. While in Legends, Vader is all too ready to complain to Sidious and express his frustrations with the suit to his master, blaming the inept medical droids for their failed designs that has left him needlessly vulnerable, the Vader in canon is focused upon the task at hand, and is not hampered by any limitations of the suit. The disadvantages and complaints that Vader had regarding his suit and cybernetics that were seen within Legends seem to have not been transferred over to the canon. Rather than being a source of agony and misery, the suit and cybernetics are acceptable to Vader within the current canon. This has changed not only in Vader's own opinion and from his own point of view, but also in the outward abilities of Vader. Even within the first issue of the new Vader comic, Vader is leaping from high structures and fighting with little to no hesitation, and certainly with great success. Even in the second issue of the series, Vader is taking on experienced clone troopers and using a lightsaber to utterly annihilate them with little effort. These actions, and even those later in the series involving Vader's confrontation with a distinguished Jedi Master, are nothing compared to Vader's duel with the Jedi Knight Bol Shatak in Legends. Vader never complains about the suit or blames it for his failures. In fact, demonstrating just how different the former Legends is from the current canon in regard to the limitations of Vader's suit, during the time period in which Vader is literally learning how to walk with his new cybernetics and Legends, he's already fighting clone troopers and dueling Jedi Masters within the canon. I did a video previously discussing how Disney made Vader more powerful within the canon, in terms of being able to successfully use the Force to attack Sidious directly after Revenge of the Sith, when he wasn't strong enough to do the same thing in Legends. The lack of limitations with Vader's suit, as well as the elimination of it as a source of frustration and agony for him, seems to be a similar step in this direction for Vader, wherein he's much more powerful in the early days after Mustafar in the canon, and not hampered by limitations that may be caused by his suit in Cybernetics. So there we have it, how Disney changed Vader's suit from his own point of view, eliminating many of the limitations that plagued the Sith Lord that were detailed in Legends. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. If not for me, for overcoming limitation.